Christmas Day, 2024, Arrowhead Stadium. Travis Kelce catches a 6-yard touchdown from Patrick Mahomes, his 78th as a Chief. That number matters. It broke Tony Gonzalez's franchise record, a mark that had stood since 2008. What Kelce did next mattered more. He dunked the football over the goalpost. That celebration wasn't random. Tony Gonzalez invented it. The NFL actually banned the move in 2014, specifically because Gonzalez and Jimmy Graham kept doing it. Kelce did it anyway. The league fined him $14,069. When Gonzalez heard about the fine, he offered to pay it. Kelce's response captured everything about this debate. "Tony, you don't have to do that, man. It's so cool to even hear you say it." Two tight ends, same franchise, same position, same celebration, different eras, and the argument over which one deserves the title of the greatest tight end of all time has never been more complicated than it is right now. Here's what makes this comparison unusual. Most position debates pit rivals who never met, legends separated by decades. But Kelce and Gonzalez overlap. They know each other, they respect each other, and they both transform the tight end position in ways that seemed impossible before they arrived. The greatest tight end debate used to be simpler. Rob Gronkowski dominated when healthy. Jason Witten accumulated massive numbers over his career. But Kelce's championship dominance has rewritten the conversation entirely, putting him head-to-head with the man who revolutionized the position, Tony Gonzalez. To understand who changed the game more, you have to understand what each man was fighting against. When Tony Gonzalez entered the NFL in 1997, tight ends were blockers. That was the job. You lined up next to the tackle, you put your hand in the dirt, and you moved bodies. If you caught 40 passes in a season, you were having a career year. The Chiefs drafted Gonzalez with the 13th overall pick, not because they wanted a receiver, they wanted an athlete who could develop into a complete player. Gonzalez was building on what Kellen Winslow Sr. had started in San Diego during the 1980s, proving that tight ends could be primary receiving threats. But Winslow's career was cut short by injuries. Gonzalez would have to prove that a receiving tight end could sustain excellence over an entire career. His basketball background at Cal told scouts he had hands and footwork. He had played in the Sweet 16 his junior year, averaging nearly 7 points and 5 rebounds a game. Pat Riley later said that if Gonzalez had committed to basketball, he would have been a 10-year NBA pro. But Gonzalez chose football, and that choice changed what the position could become. His second season almost ended everything. Gonzalez led the NFL in dropped passes with 16. He was benched twice during games. Chiefs fans booed him at Arrowhead. A local sports writer gave him a D- grade, and Gonzalez had never gotten a D- in anything in his life. He told Sports Illustrated that year that people were stopping him on the street, calling him at home, asking what was the matter, and he did not have an answer. What Gonzalez did next separated him from every tight end who came before. He changed his entire routine. Before that season, he had caught maybe 20 or 30 balls at practice. Now he stayed after everyone else left. Late December, snow on the ground, cold as hell, Gonzalez convinced backup quarterback Warren Moon to throw him 100 passes after every practice. He caught balls while the defense ran drills. He caught balls before practice started. He caught balls after coaches dismissed the team. Gonzalez said in his Hall of Fame speech that he learned this all from watching the greats, and that success leaves clues. By 1999, the drops were gone. Gonzalez caught 76 passes for 849 yards and a career-high 11 touchdowns. First Pro Bowl, first All-Pro, and the league started to notice that something had shifted. The numbers Gonzalez put up over the next decade weren't just good for a tight end. They were good for anyone. In 2004, he caught 102 passes, leading the entire NFL in receptions. Not tight ends, everyone. He did this while taking double-team coverage as the focal point of opposing defenses. Defensive coordinators had a problem they'd never faced before. Linebackers were too slow to cover Gonzalez, and cornerbacks were too small to contest his catches. Here's what made his production almost impossible. During his 12 years in Kansas City, Gonzalez played with 7 different starting quarterbacks. 7. Elvis Grbac, Trent Green, Damon Huard, Brodie Croyle. The list goes on. He adapted to 4 different head coaches and countless offensive systems. He didn't have a Hall of Fame quarterback throwing to him. He had whoever was available. Despite all of that, Gonzalez finished his career with 1,325 receptions, 15,127 receiving yards, and 111 touchdowns. Those first 2 numbers are still tight end records as of 2025, though Jason Witten sits second all-time in receptions with 1,215. Gonzalez made 14 Pro Bowls, the most ever for a tight end, and he missed only 2 games in 17 seasons. 2 games. In a sport that destroys bodies, Gonzalez played 270 of 272 possible regular season games. When asked about his durability in 2013, Gonzalez gave an answer that revealed his intelligence about the position. Being able to play tight end, I don't have the fullback or linebacker position where you're running into somebody full speed with your head every time, he said. I try to keep my head out of it as much as I can, use good technique. I get to go on offense. I'm out there trying to catch balls. He protected himself by playing smart. He understood that longevity required calculation. That calculation had a cost. Gonzalez never won a Super Bowl. His Chiefs teams made the playoffs only 3 times in 12 seasons and never won a postseason game. When he finally reached the NFC Championship with Atlanta in January 2013, he caught 8 passes for 78 yards and a touchdown. The Falcons lost to San Francisco 28-24. Gonzalez retired after that season, 97% sure he was done, knowing that the one thing missing from his resume would stay missing forever. Now consider what Travis Kelce walked into. Kelce arrived in Kansas City in 2013, the same year Gonzalez retired. The Chiefs took him in the 3rd round, the 63rd overall pick. He was not a first-rounder like Gonzalez. His college career at Cincinnati included a suspension for marijuana, which scared off other teams. Andy Reid saw something else. Reid had coached Kelce's brother Jason in Philadelphia and recognized the same competitive fire in Travis. Kelce's rookie season ended almost before it started. A knee injury in September required microfracture surgery. He played 1 game and missed the rest of the year. That surgery was the first of 10 surgeries Kelce would undergo during his career. 10 surgeries. Most fans do not know that number because Kelce does not talk about it. In November 2023, he finally opened up to the Wall Street Journal. "That's the only thing I've never really been open about," Kelce said. "The discomfort, the pain, the lingering injuries, the 10 surgeries I've had that I still feel every single surgery to this day." His trainer, Alex Skasel, revealed that there is not a single day during the season when Kelce does not have some gruesome bruise somewhere on his body. Players claw at each other out there, leaving Kelce's skin striated with scratches. He uses treatments most people have never heard of: cupping, dry needling, occlusion therapy, where they tie off a limb with a tourniquet while he works out. Before games, he takes anti-inflammatories that he does not like discussing because they have a history of affecting people's insides. The reality is physical and uncompromising. When asked how often he thinks about retirement, Kelce said, "More than anyone could ever imagine." That confession stunned people who assumed the always smiling, always joking tight end had nothing but joy in his career. The truth is darker. He plays through pain that would sideline most players, and he does it because stopping is not an option. As long as championships are within reach, and championships have absolutely been within reach. That is what separates Kelce's career from Gonzalez's in the most fundamental way possible. Kelce has 3 Super Bowl rings. Gonzalez has 0. The postseason records tell the story. Through 25 playoff games, Kelce has 178 receptions for 2,078 yards and 20 touchdowns. His 9 playoff games with 100 receiving yards broke Jerry Rice's all-time record. In Super Bowl 59, despite the Chiefs losing to the Eagles, Kelce caught 11 passes, breaking Rice's Super Bowl reception record of 33, with 35 career grabs in the big game. These are not tight end records. These are records for anyone who has ever played the position of pass catcher in the NFL playoffs. The regular season dominance is just as striking. Kelce holds the record for most consecutive 1,000-yard seasons by a tight end, 7 from 2016 through 2022. Gonzalez had 4 such seasons in his entire career. Kelce's average of 71.2 yards per game is not just the best for a tight end. It ranks in the top 30 among all receivers in NFL history, just ahead of Randy Moss. Defensive coordinators have spent the better part of a decade trying to solve the Kelce problem. They have failed. Falcons linebacker Caden Ellis explained why before a 2024 matchup. When the play breaks down and we get to that second act of the play, Travis Kelce has a way of finding the hole. A lot of guys, they kind of routine what they do when it comes to a scramble situation, go to the sideline, turn back, come down to the quarterback. Not Kelce. I just watched one where he is running to the opposite side of the field as Mahomes is running the other way, and they get a completion. Ellis paused. You have to keep your eyes on him. If that is your guy in coverage, stay stuck to him like glue, no matter how long the play goes until that whistle blows. Because if not, he's going to make you pay. Teams have tried everything. Brackets with a linebacker inside and a safety outside. 4 deep coverages mixing cover 2 and cover 4. Spying Mahomes with athletic linebackers while sending 3-man rushes to keep everyone else in coverage. None of it consistently works, because Kelce and Mahomes share something that cannot be schemed against. A telepathic connection built over a decade of championship football. There is a moment from the 2020 divisional round that captures this perfectly. Late in the third quarter against Houston, Kelce ran a corner route covered by safety Mike Adams. The Texans defended it perfectly. Adams stuck with Kelce all the way down the field, and it looked like Mahomes had nowhere to throw. But Mahomes hung in the pocket, Kelce worked back inside, and he came loose for a gain of 28 yards. On the sideline afterward, Kelce told his quarterback that he did not understand how Mahomes knew what he was doing. He said there was nothing telling Mahomes he was going to do that. That connection is something Gonzalez never experienced. He had good quarterback play from Trent Green for 5 seasons, but nothing approaching the decade-long partnership Kelce has enjoyed with Mahomes. The stability matters. Andy Reid has been Kelce's head coach for his entire career. Gonzalez went through 4 different head coaches in Kansas City alone. But here is where the comparison gets complicated. Does quarterback quality elevate the tight end, or does the tight end elevate regardless of who is throwing? Antonio Gates, who played against both during his Hall of Fame career with the Chargers, offered a fascinating perspective. Gates said that if you watch Kelce play, his skill set is probably greater than Tony Gonzalez's if you watch the game. That is a stunning statement from someone who competed against both throughout his career. Gates was not the only contemporary to weigh in. Greg Olsen, a 3-time Pro Bowl tight end, admitted he never thought anyone could catch Gonzalez's records. Olsen said he never thought in a million years anyone would be able to catch Tony Gonzalez. And yet Kelce has caught them. He has surpassed them in many categories and added accomplishments Gonzalez never achieved. The 2024 season tested whether Kelce's dominance could continue into his mid-30s. At 35 years old, he showed signs of decline. He finished with 823 receiving yards and just 3 touchdowns, career lows in several categories. His 7-year streak of 1,000-yard seasons ended. Reid acknowledged the reality, saying he knows Kelce is getting older. Kelce does not know he is getting older, but Reid does. The plan was to transition Kelce from an every-down workhorse into a situational weapon, bringing him in on crucial downs to feast on single coverage when defenses could not afford to bracket him. Then, the playoffs arrived, and Kelce reminded everyone why the position debate still centers on him. He had 11 catches against Houston and 9 catches against Buffalo. He set the Super Bowl reception record against Philadelphia, even in a loss. So where does this leave the greatest tight end debate? If longevity is your measure, Gonzalez wins. 17 seasons compared to 12. 270 games compared to 170. The career reception and yardage records still belong to him. If championships are your measure, Kelce wins decisively. 3 rings compared to 0. Super Bowl records across the board. He was the defining tight end on the most dominant dynasty of his generation. If peak performance is your measure, Kelce has the edge. 7 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons compared to 4 total. A higher yards per game average. More touchdowns per season at his peak. If context is your measure, and it should be, Gonzalez accomplished his numbers with inferior quarterback play and coaching instability. He was the entire offense in Kansas City for stretches of his career, facing double teams and bracket coverage as the only weapon defenses feared. The truth is that both players revolutionized the tight end position in different ways. Gonzalez proved that tight ends could be primary receiving weapons, that a player at his position could lead the league in receptions and demand the kind of coverage previously reserved for elite wide receivers. He opened a door that had been closed. Kelce proved that tight ends could be the focal point of championship offenses, that the position could produce not just individual statistics, but team success at the highest level. He walked through the door Gonzalez opened and built a mansion on the other side. The celebration on Christmas Day. 2024 captured the relationship between them perfectly. Kelce broke Gonzalez's record, then honored him by using his signature move. Gonzalez offered to pay the fine. 2 competitors linked across eras, each having pushed the position further than anyone thought possible. The answer to who is the greatest tight end of all time might depend on what you value most. It could be the pioneering excellence of Tony Gonzalez, who transformed the position while carrying the weight of bad teams on his back, or the championship dominance of Travis Kelce, who paid for his success with 10 surgeries and pain that he feels every single day. What is certain is that both players deserve to be mentioned whenever the conversation turns to the greatest who ever played their position. The NFL needed Gonzalez to show what was possible. It needed Kelce to show what that possibility could achieve. The debate between them is not really about statistics or championships. It is about appreciating 2 different forms of greatness that elevated the game in ways we are still understanding.